Hello and welcome. Today I would like to talk about AA. I think that this game needs some serious improvements in the AA department. What we currently have is simply insufficient. This is particularly apparent with battleships with these kinds of meshes on top. Just look at these cables and these railings and look at this rotating mesh. It's simply shimmering like crazy. It just looks horrible overall. And look at these railings. They're aliased as well. It just doesn't look good. It just seems as though anti-aliasing is not turned on, but if I go into settings, it's clearly turned on high. It doesn't go any higher. There is no other anti-aliasing option in here. Some of you might be confused right now with questions such as, what is anti-aliasing and why does it matter and how is it relevant to World of Warships? Well, it's relevant to World of Warships. As you saw earlier, it just makes the game look worse. But what is anti-aliasing is a bit of a more difficult question, and we should first look at what is aliasing and what causes it. The main reason why it happens is because of the way our screens work. Essentially, imagine it as a grid like this, a bunch of dots. They are just really small dots. And with these kinds of dots, you create your image. That's fine if you have if you have lines that are horizontal, perfectly horizontal that is, then they look completely sharp and are completely straight. And the same goes for vertical lines. The problem comes with all kinds of diagonal lines like this. Look, it looks fuzzy. It just doesn't look straight at all. So this is problematic, and it's the main reason why anti-aliasing is useful. The idea of anti-aliasing is that you look at this color information of the background and the foreground, and you add intermediate colors like some grays here to make it seem smooth. So this would make the line look really good. One of the easiest ways to do it is to do something similar to what's called FXAA or full scene anti-aliasing. So it's a super sampling anti-aliasing type. The idea would be to essentially render your image at a higher resolution, like say at 4 times the resolution, and then you just downscale the image. It would essentially be like zooming out here, and if I zoom out, this line looks less fuzzy and less fuzzy the further I zoom. But of course, it would require a huge amount of resources, so it's a pretty poor way of doing it. Better ways are things such as MSAA, which is also a super sampling anti-aliasing type, but it picks where it takes multiple samples in a better way, which doesn't waste as many resources. But the problem with World of Warships is that they use FXAA, which is fast approximate anti-aliasing. The problem in that method is that it essentially takes the image and it looks for what would be lines and borders, and then it blurs them a little. And this doesn't give very good, and it doesn't get rid of the aliasing in a good way. It can make textures look more blurry, but the upside is that it is very performance efficient. It doesn't cause huge slowdowns or FPS drops. But still, I mean, World of Warships looks amazing. Just look at this. This stuff looks excellent. That sky is amazing. This sea as well. But these kinds of things just ruin it. And I don't want to have them in the game anymore. So please, Wargaming, add some kind of other method of anti-aliasing as well. At this point, I want to do a little comparison between 1080p and 4K that is downscaled. 4K downscale to 1080p will be something similar to that full scene anti-aliasing type, so it will still give a better picture and you should still see differences. Essentially, I'll just look around the ship and point out badly aliased things. The main problem that I have with bad aliasing is that it shimmers and it just doesn't look as good. But the shimmering is the main issue. I also tried some methods to combat this issue. I tried injecting anti-aliasing with various methods. I used Gedo and Sweet FX, but they didn't work. I mean, if Wargaming doesn't fix it, it would be nice if they at least made those methods work. I understand that it's a YouTube video, so seeing these kinds of differences will be more difficult, but I tested it out and it's completely visible. The shimmering here is really annoying to me. I also tried using the NVIDIA control panel to enhance the anti-aliasing effects of the game, but the effect all of these methods had was either that the game didn't start, it would crash, or it just wouldn't do anything. I really don't have a computer capable of doing 4K, especially 4K recording, nor do I have a screen for it, but NVIDIA has the new feature which enables you to do this. Look, you can still see the anti-aliasing or aliasing issues here, but it's nearly not as bad. Look at these railings. They aren't aliased nearly as much as they were on the 1080p version. This one still looks similarly bad. But if you think about it, this would only be like 2 times anti-aliasing on FXAA. So you could do much better. These lines actually look really good. Like they don't seem aliased almost at all. Although that might be the background, which looks absolutely fantastic in this game. Like the sky, it just looks amazing in my opinion. You can still see this one, and that whole array still looks bad. But it looks a bit better. I think one way that this effect is looks pretty decent, that is the difference in what kind of aliasing looks like in the 4K version, is mainly in these little, I don't even know what you'd call them, because I guess there would be something like nets. These seem to shimmer a lot less, which I like a lot. And of course these cables actually look much better. I would imagine that something like 4 times or 8 times FXAA would probably get rid of like most of these issues. One thing Wargaming could do would be that maybe they can't do anti-aliasing very well. Maybe they could instead have like an in-game screenshot tool where you can take screenshots which are taken at a higher resolution. I've seen some tools similar to that, and I don't feel like this should be difficult to code. This still looks terrible, and this as well. Where you essentially play at 1080p, but when you take a screenshot, it takes it at like 8K or something like that. And then you can manually resize them if you want to. It would still look a lot better than... I used it in Kerbal Space Program, which made it look actually excellent. Although I guess one thing the game also needs would be UI scaling. At 4K this looks pretty... Let's put it this way. I really can't read all of this stuff if I didn't know what was already written there. But look at that. Look at that sky. This looks... It just looks really good. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video... Wait, actually, I would like to apologize to everyone who thought that this video was going to be about anti-air. I am sorry for deceiving you. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, then please subscribe, and thanks for watching.